Okay, so I finished that extortion 17 video, and now I want to talk about Afghanistan and my opinion on why I think America failed, why they lost the war. And to me, the primary reason why I think America lost the war was because how they fight. And how do I say this? It has to do with the deployment length. Okay, so basically, I was deployed in Afghanistan, and I did a 1-year deployment. And the mindset that most service members had, not all, but most, was they're not trying to win a war. They're trying to survive it. They're trying to survive for that 1 year. Because at the end of the day, whether they make great progress in the region that they're stationed or they don't do jack shit, they're leaving in that 1 year. So, therefore, some people aren't motivated to do anything while they're there. They're not really focused on going after Taliban, Haqqani, Mujahideen, you name it. They don't really care. There's a list of targets. Whether you get them or not, doesn't matter. You still get your check. You still and you're you're not gonna get fired. So, and no one's gonna hold you accountable. And you're gonna come back home. And that I always thought that that's part of the main reason why there was no motivation to win. And I think it's just because the deployment land. If we had to stay there for a long deployment, I'm talking about years. You're like, hey, we're not leaving this place until we win this. I think you would have saw a different result. But because people are kind of they knew the system, especially people who were much in the military longer, they were the most laziest out of everyone. They like senior enlisted, they really didn't care about anything. Again, their main goal was to just come back home, which is smart, especially in retrospect, looking at how it ended. Of course, I mean, imagine that if you had a family member die, and all for what, for this fiasco that happened. Wouldn't you have wanted your loved one to come back home, over anything? It's. I think, like I said, that it just killed our motivation to do anything. So I'm going to show you this video of Cop Tangi. I talked about it in my last video. And the reason I'm going to show you this video is this happened while I was in Afghanistan. And I saw this happening from a predator feed. And when I had told my superiors about it, we did absolutely nothing. We could have dropped a freaking, I don't know, like ammunition or like an ordnance and level this area, but we didn't. And so that's like there was no motivation to do anything. So let me play this video. I'm in the background while I talk, so and give you some more information. So this is Cop Tangi. It's in the Tangi Valley, in Wardak province, and in I think it was April of 2011, we had pulled out because there was constant firefights, and these firefights were long. And it was hard to resupply this unit that was in there. It was hard to you know, to get to this location. And there was a great fear of that this cop was going to be overrun. So I think it was General Petraeus at the time decided, hey, we're going to pull the unit out of there, and they're going to move him to another cop nearby, Cop Bordak on the I think it's called Highway 1. It's the highway just at the end of this road that connects Kaptangi. But it's away from the valley. It's more in a more urban setting. Yeah. So after we left, we watched the cop we had Overwatch for a while, and nothing happened, and it was just empty. But then one day we got reports that, hey, there was a huge convoy of Taliban fighters, and we get reports all the time. We think it's you never know what's real, what's not. So we have drones flying everywhere, and I'm watching the feeds, and randomly we're scanning the roads, and we see a bunch of traffic of people in motorcycles and mopeds, and we follow them into this compound. And this is the footage, I guess from the ground, but I'm watching it from the Predator feed, and the feed's not that good. Like we can't really see things as clear because I don't know, it was just really grainy. We could see all these people and stuff, but couldn't see everybody carrying all these weapons like you do see here. But like I said, we were getting reports like, yeah, it was like, I think it was like 200 or 400 fighters, and pretty much, I mean, it is a huge amount of people, and we see them all on the base, and we didn't do a damn thing. That's what I was like. When I told my supervisors, like, hey, look at all these mams. We would call them military age males. Like, look at all these mams in our possible insurgents in our cop. We just like, okay, just keep Overwatch. I'm like, we're not gonna drop ordnance. We're not gonna do anything. No. And again, it was like that was kind of like the theme of our thing was just like we didn't do anything. And it actually got worse because of when during like the summer of 20 or close to the summer of 2011, there was like a huge change to target the Haqqani network. So the Haqqani is so you have the Taliban, obviously, and then there's other groups of fighters. The Haqqani is just a different group. They're a smaller group. They're mainly it's a family. That's the Haqqani name, and they're I think from Pakistan, but they operate in both, I think, Pakistan and Afghanistan, and they do more complex attacks. Like they do because they have a smaller number, but than the Taliban, but they conduct more complex attacks, like attacks on embassies and stuff, And we had a change in who we were going to target, and it came from the top, from I think almost maybe from the president himself. I'm not 100% sure, but the generals above us told us we're only targeting Haqqani. That is our main goal. And the problem was, since they're a smaller group, they're not all over the place. If you didn't have Haqqani in your AO, you didn't get support. You didn't get assets. So you didn't get drones. The drones only went to battle spaces that had known Haqqani members. So luckily, in my AO, we had a couple that were known Haqqani that were fighters in my AO. Other battle spaces around Regional Command East, Eastern Afghanistan, they had none, and they were furious because every time they asked for support, they would get denied. And I remember I'll be in meetings with ISR support from other battle spaces, because we would have our weekly meeting, and it was a weekly or weekly meeting, and they were just furious, like, hey man, how come we're not getting support? It was like, well, you don't take priority, and so things were still okay for a while, because again we had them in my AO, but then we had we also had other targets that we wanted to target, and they were Taliban. And I'll give you where this is all going. We had reports of a VBID and from a Taliban fighter, and like really good reports of a VBID. I don't want to tell you exactly how we got this information, but it was solid. We knew where the VBID was and where it was going to. It was gonna because we in my time there, we had already been struck by a VBID, and one of our installations was struck, I think, in Wardak. I can't think of the base off the top of my head. It's been a minute. Well, we had reports that they were going to do another attack, and so we knew where it was at. We knew who was driving it. We had a lot of information, and we needed a drone to track it because of how we were conducting this, and basically we needed an armed drone so it could shoot a hellfire at it. Okay, so I had a drone in my AO targeting Haqqani, and I get this report, hey, there's VBIDs over here, and I was like, okay, cool. I tell them in the chat, hey, I need you to go over here and we're gonna go get this VBID, vehicle borne IED. It's basically we call them like a jingle truck, like an 18-wheeler packed with ammonium nitrate. It'll do a huge explosion. Think of like Oklahoma City bombing. So I moved the drone to target the VBID. I get instantly a call from division, because they're watching the chat. They're like, hey, they say, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I need them over here to target this VBID. Like, no. This drone is designated to target the Haqqani network. That's it. You cannot move assets around to do other things. And I'm like, yeah, but this is like something freaking important. We've been targeting this objective. We finally got him. We got the intel solid. Like, nope. And even the drone pilot got frustrated because he got told, go back to your original mission and to scan for Haqqani, and so we moved it away. So we lost track of the VBID. Now that VBID eventually did go off at a base, or at a COP Wardak on September 11th. It leveled the base. We could have stopped it, but because of politics of how from higher ups, we we basically they messed it up, and luckily no American troops died, but there were like 80 American troops injured. And like again, it's how do I say this? Politics kind of got in the way, and to add a little bit of salt to the injury, after the explosion, they reports came out that it was the Haqqani network was behind the VBET attack. It's what reports said, you know, and it's almost like they wanted to hype up the Haqqani network to be. Honestly, it felt like, because it was an election year. Or we're coming up to an election year. It felt like the administration was trying to. They were trying to target an enemy that they could defeat. The Haqqani network, like I said, they were a smaller fighting force. They were under 200, like I think it was under 200 fighters or members. Like, it's small, and they're just spread out. And it almost felt like we were trying to have a win, you know, so we could have hey, we defeated the Haqqani, and you know, we won the war, because Osama bin Laden had been killed that same year. I think it was in maybe April or May of 2011. So he was already gone, and it was like, what's the next thing in Afghanistan? Like, how do we pull a win? Like, who are we trying to really defeat? And it almost felt like that's who we were trying to say. Is like, we defeated the Haqqani, it's over, you know. And anywho, just had to put that little story in there. Yeah, so so that happened while I was in there, and like I said, that's why I think there's the leadership failed us, and leadership in all departments, like from the company level to the division level, like, it failed. And the reason was, nobody was trying to win this war. Everybody had their agenda. The majority of us were just trying to survive it. You have your higher ups who were trying to they were trying to, like, I want to say, monument build, as in they're trying to check boxes so they can look good on paper, you know. And I think that's part of the reason why they had the whole Haqqani thing, was to have like a really good check mark of a target that they defeated, you know, while they were there, or maybe help I don't know, somebody in DC or something. Like, I had a feeling that I'm pretty sure. I mean, everything comes from the president. It might have come from him. I don't really have anything to back that up, though. You could look up reports of the Haqqani and them being I remember even Hillary Clinton in September of that year was trying to put him on this list. And the Taliban weren't on this list, but she was really trying to put the Haqqani on this list, I forget this terrorist, world terrorist list or something. So just to sum this all up, if we would have fought the war more like World War II, where we sent troops in there in large numbers, and hey, we're staying here. We're not going until it is complete. You know, it would have been a different outcome. I also want to say, like, the first month and your last month during a deployment are your most dangerous. Like, when you're doing a handoff between units. Part of the reason is when you first get in there, you're trying to get situated. You don't know anything. You know, you don't know your area. You don't know how to operate. You're trying to get adjusted. You're trying to get comfortable, and then you're getting constantly attacked. So you're trying to get used to getting your feet wet and how to react and everything. And then your last month, you're kind of really focused on leaving. So it kind of you're focused on leaving, and the new unit is kind of taken over. So there's like a little gap in there that kind of leaves you vulnerable to attacks. So that wouldn't happen so much if, like I said, if units stay there for long periods of times. I'm talking about years. It would have changed the mindset. Like again, like you saw this video of several fighters out in the open. I saw it on screen, and they did nothing. And it shocked me when I was over there. It's again because most of the motivation, like, all right, we take care of them. Really, then what? Be some more people, you know. And again, everybody's just they had just checked out. They just want to go home. And looking back at it, at this failure, I don't blame them, you know, because if I would have known how I would have ended out, I would have been lazy from day one, you know, because I put in a lot of work. I was so freaking motivated. I went above and beyond doing things that weren't asked of me, you know. And knowing what I know now, I would have been lazy as shit. You know, I wasted my damn time, and people lost their lives for nothing. Yeah. So that's my thought on the Afghanistan war.